Hey guys, my name is Courtney Ortiz and I'm the host here of the My Camp podcast. Thank you for joining me. We're here live in the Girls HC and I'm really excited to introduce my new camp friend who's joining us today, Scott Ballsy, and he is the founder of Camp Light, which is part of an even greater nonprofit called Creative Works Farm. And we're going to learn all about it. So Scott, thank you so much for coming and joining me today here in the Girls HC. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, Courtney.
Amazing. So before we begin, I always like to ask my guests this first question. What's your origin story? Everybody has a camp story. What's your story?
As far as going to camp or having a camp?
Well, I mean, a little bit of both. I know, I did some research on your, on the website and all about Camp Light. And there was this really amazing article and kind of a little bit about your background. And I swear by the end of the article, like I'm crying. The tears are falling down my face because just your story and what inspired you as a kid to the idea that you had and buying a farm. And I don't want to take your story away from you, so please tell us your story.
Yeah. Well, as a child, my mom raised us by herself. Dad, divorced family, and me and my two sisters, and we had very, very little. We walked everywhere, didn't have a car, and the whole poor story. But we never knew it. We grew up happy, mom loving us, and she was an orphan and ended up adopted, but then ran away as a teenager and, had children and all, so her story is a little different, but she never let us know that, we weren't loved and that you could always help others no matter what you had. We never had money to go to camp as children, but my mom was the neighborhood mom that played with everybody and, did stuff with the kids. And then she helped special needs, through a Parks and Rec program when I was a child. And so that's kind of where I learned, to give back to others that need help. And I feel like, grew up that way. And I guess that's kind of what inspired us to build a camp. I love creating things. I've been a builder since I was 16 in high school, been building houses, and I love making things. And I consider myself a little bit artistic and creative in that way. Beating nails and cutting boards is what pays the bills, to make a living. But, we've been able to build everything here at camp. And we had the idea to build a camp, and it took, 4 years to actually find a farm. We actually started, fundraising like for Relay for Life for cancer. And we did it as a Halloween attraction through my little sister's wedding reception party. And the Halloween thing grew so big and just insane. And we had 8,000 people at our house in October. And we decided, we needed to move it somewhere to a bigger place and use it to help children. And that's how the whole idea came about to start Camp Light. And my family, my sisters and my friends are all behind us. My wife and I looked for 4 years to find a farm, and we met the gentleman through a friend of ours, and he lived about an hour from here, and he had bought the farm as an investment property. And he met us on the farm, and we rode around, and the place wasn't even for sale. And we told him our story, what our vision was, and on a handshake, he financed it to us. And we paid on it for 2 years. We built a road and built one maintenance building, and had our first 23 campers for day camps. And he came to the opening ceremonies and forgave the debt on the land. So the 160 acres belongs to our nonprofit. Which was a huge blessing. And Walton, we actually met him at 91 years old, and he was just a great guy. And he made it to 99, and we consider him family. And he was, the one guy that really believed us in the beginning. And we took that and ran with it and did everything we could to make him proud.
In our show notes, I want to make sure that we put a link to that article because it's so well written. And although you are a great storyteller, but here, when they talked about, the opening ceremonies and he stood up and he said, I'm going to forgive all of it. I just could imagine like the emotions that was going through you and your wife. And like, it was such I feel like they should make a movie. Sounds like a great.
Yeah. We were just truly blessed and overwhelmed with it. It inspired me to work that much harder to make things happen. And, we've come a long way in what we've developed, for very minimal cost for what's here, because of the amount of free labor and the amount of people that have stepped up to help because of me being in the building community. And,
Right.
that has tremendously helped the cost of what we've done. And sorry, I've got a head cold, so I'm kind of running a little bit.
That's all right. That's all right.
But yeah, it was that was kind of how it all started. And we've grown every year with day camps, and we're working on the development of overnight stay facilities, where we'll be able to see about 600 kids a summer, through all over the country in different states. And all of our kids come free. There's no cost to the campers, because we feel like there's enough financial burden on families that have children with special needs and at-risk youth, that if we can offer the camp for free through people that help us fund it, grants and private donations, and all the events that we have here at camp, that we hope to always be able to offer it for free, even when we go to overnight stays. And we hope that's in the next couple of years. It's just a huge project. It's a huge cost build out. As anybody knows that runs a camp, it's not cheap.
Right.
We right now operate off 2 full-time employees, which one is my sister, and she is our development director, camp director, and wears all kinds of other hats. And then the rest of us are all volunteers and volunteer summer staff. And I volunteer here as a counselor all summer between building houses. I volunteer at camp Monday through Thursday and work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and keep jobs going, throughout the week when I'm not there. And but I absolutely love camp and would not miss it for the world, because it's just worth all the effort that you put in when the kids are here and you get to see their smiles and their happy faces and the good times. And it just makes every bit of the thousands of hours worth it.
It's interesting because, I talk to a lot of directors and founders of camps, and, that's what they do full time. So to know that you're running and building this facility that's serviced, or you saw like over 200 kids last summer,
Yeah.
And you're building houses full time. Like this isn't what you're doing. And it really, I think, says a lot about the impact of your mission, that it's inspiring so many people who give their time. It's really amazing. So tell me about your sessions. You mentioned it's a day camp. So do campers go all summer long?
No, it's a week at a time. So it's usually 25 to 30 campers a week.
Okay.
And, we have 6 to 10 counselors for that week, depending on the needs of the children. Depends on the number of counselors we need, because there is some that need one-on-one.
Right.
And a lot of our campers come that are nonverbal and severe autism, different things that would need them. And sometimes they actually have their own aides that come to camp with them. And we've kind of realized from that, they have a wonderful time. And we kind of realized from that when we go to overnight stays, that we're actually probably still going to offer day campers the ability to come, because there's some kids that just would not be able to do overnight camp.
Right. Because of whatever their medical needs are, just can't overnight.
Yeah.
Right. And you're, I'm really impressed by the goals that you have in creating this facility, because it's really creating, you're creating a traditional-ish sleepaway camp from scratch, with cabins and medical center and a beach with a lazy river. Like, tell us about what your goals are and dreams for the next step of Camp Light when you're building this like residential facility.
Yeah, so when we build the overnight stays, we'll have 6 cabins. So we'll be able to see about 50 campers a week, along with, close to 50 staff at that point, or, somewhere between 30 and 50, depending on the needs. And then we'll have hang on, I got people calling in. I should have put something on there, but anyway, can you still see me, or is it?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so I'll keep going. With that, we'll have about 50 campers a week. We'll have 2 medical staff house buildings, an office, art building, and then a theater with an indoor-outdoor stage that has indoor seating. Pool with a lazy river, like a water park area, all 0 entry, so that everything is fully accessible. and then a dining hall that's going to be our largest building for capacity. And then in the basement of the dining hall, we were planning on putting a bowling alley, for the future. And but with that, right now we have a construction committee which is working on the build out of the dining hall first, so that we can actually have a commercial kitchen here and be able to actually prep meals for day camps as we're building out. So that's kind of the plan. We hope, the biggest thing is funding. I have everything in place with our county, our site plans done. We're working on some of the architectural stuff now, but all the preliminary architectural is done. The water, sewer, and everything's ready. So we're ready to build it. It's just, it's a $7-8 million project. So I mean, it's big. And, in comparison to what if I just wrote somebody a check to build it and we didn't put the physical effort into it, it'd probably be a $10 or $12 million project. So
Right.
We have a lot of wonderful support. Quite a few of our board members and our committee members are in the construction field. And, that really, really helps in, reaching out to the right people to help get the facility put together.
Right. Right.
We really excited to you become an overnight camp, because just to me that is the epitome of camp, is the times that happen in the cabin with the stories and the friends you made. And because I didn't get to go to camp as a child, but we went and participated as counselors at other camps before we started building ours, and to learn. And we still learn. We visit every camp we can anytime we're traveling, if we find one in the area, because I'm a big car nut, and I'm into cars. I've been into cars since I was a kid, hot rods, drag racing. And we do a lot with cars with our camp, and we do a lot in traveling with racing with friends and show cars. And I've met so many wonderful people in the car world that have stepped up and helped our camp. But, we constantly travel, doing that kind of thing, spreading the word. But when we're out traveling, I love to visit other camps.
Talk me through a day at Camp Light. How does it start? How does it end? What do the campers do?
Okay, so like on the day of arrival, we check in, and then we have in our, you've seen probably on our website, we have a 1950s town. So I built a town.
Which I want to mention, I don't mean to interrupt you, but in the beginning, you talked about how, the hammers and the nails of pay the bills, but it gives you an opportunity to be creative. And I just wanted to give props to how beautiful and creative you see that shine through in the projects that are already completed at Camp Light, your town, all of that. It's a beautiful, very cool, you can tell, very creative place that you have created. So
well, thank you.
All right. So now you can talk about arrivals.
Yeah, so they all come and we check in at our fire station, and that's where the nursing station is at the moment. And everybody gets checked in. We divide up in groups, and one group meets in our reflection hall, which is like a 1950s chapel, or one-room schoolhouse, however you want to see it. And then the other group meets in our general store. And then we get our activities started, for the day, where we have icebreaker games at our pavilion and learn about each other a little bit. And then we do some outdoor games and activities. And then by then we do a couple activities like tie-dye t-shirts and a couple other things outside. And then we have a little bit of free play, and then lunch. And then after lunch, we do activities. Actually, it's in town day. So we do activities in the buildings throughout the town. They go in the barbershop and do, crazy hair and makeup day and tattoos. And of course, they make up the counselors more than they do themselves. So the counselors look like total war paint, And so then we do in the camera store, we dress up and take pictures and photos with costumes, and they pretend they have backdrops in there. And then the record store was like a Bopping Heads green screen, a video maker for, like DVDs. Right. And this year we're actually changing it out to karaoke. So it'll be new for this year. We'll have a karaoke set up for them, and they'll be on stage, and get to make their own songs, or not, well, pick songs to sing.
And I want my listeners to know that this is not like, they're not going out into a town. Like Scott Ballsy and the crew, they have built a replica, like 1950s street in Camp Light. Like, so the fire station, the camera store, like this is all part of your camp, which is yes. So amazing.
Yeah, we wanted to make something fun and creative, and we thought with building this, we would be able to host events here. So we have so many events that run for fundraising, but then use it for a great space for the kids at camp. And so then with that, we do in the gas station, we do Palma Derby cars where the kids paint them, and then we help assemble them. And then the next day we drag race them. And I have a funny car simulator I built out of an old funny car body that someone gave me. It runs on airbags and it talks to you like you're going down the drag strip. And the kids get in and ride it over and over and over. And then we have race cars brought in. A bunch of friends race dirt track, and they bring their race cars out and hang out with the kids, during the car day. And but then, every day we do different activities, always team building and fun games, your typical gaga ball and all the fun stuff like that. And then of course, we have a pond for fishing. We take the kids on a nature hike and then go fishing. And then we have archery. We have the pool, of course, it's separate from the water park. And that's, a whole story in itself, where the pool actually got donated. So it was it was actually a damaged fiberglass pool that had fell when it was being set. And they brought it to us and said, it may be yours, hang on to it. And the insurance called me and we gave them a storage bill, and then we ended up with it for free. And so we put a $50,000 pool in for like $8,000. So, that was a good way for us to have a pool and a good fun, because we have an inflatable water slide and other outdoor water games while we're waiting to build the actual water park. So that's, another activity that we do. And then we have, of course, arts and crafts of all different kinds. And then at the barn, which is, one of my favorite days also, the car day and barn day, because the barn, we have all the animals inside. And we do small animals in the classrooms of our barn. And then we have, horse riding, which is, led around on a ring, in a ring, with sidewalkers. It's not an actual trail ride or anything. Hang on just one second. Sorry, my nose, like I said, head cold and it's trying to drain down my throat.
Oh gosh.
But anyway, so, we do the barn, and we have a lift system for children that are not able to get on their own. And of course helps our counselors and the camper. And that's some of my favorite stories of camp, is watching them on the horse, because the true connection that they make with animals is just unbelievable. And, I could tell you a real quick one, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So we have one child that was in a wheelchair, spina bifida, and didn't speak, but she would just make facial gestures and communication. Laughed a lot and giggled, and her mom said she can ride the horse, and I was like, oh, okay, how are we going to do this? And she said, oh, they just take the saddle off and lay her backwards. I said, okay. So we put her on, and she was facing me, and I was one of the sidewalkers, and we put her on and we start walking her around. And in that moment, she's just smiling and giggling. And of course, I'm just bawling,
Right.
just the emotions of it. And by the second lap, she's falling asleep, because she's just so relaxed on the horse. It's really, really cool. And, to me, that's the connections that are made with animals are just amazing,
Well, I know like horse therapy, I think they call it hippotherapy, is really
Yes.
popular for kids, and whether you're, grieving or, have special needs, but it's, I know there's a lot of benefits to using
Yes.
kids.
Yeah, we see a lot of it with our at-risk children too that come to camp. And we plan on expanding the riding program as we grow to overnight, where we can have week classes, during the off season. And because we're planning on respite weekends, with once camp season's over, like a lot of camps do spring and fall respite weekends where the families can come and attend camp. And so that's our plan for the future, because we want something to be happening here all the time, so that,
Right.
we're getting the most use out of the facility, So,
Right, because you still have bills to pay, September through June, right? Of course.
yes, yeah. And we have a lot of fundraising activities, with car shows and a big annual charity auction. And then we do a Christmas Wonderland that is just, it's not like anything anybody's ever seen around here. It's insane. It's all computerized light show throughout the whole town. You start out in our barn and take a hayride up to our town. I turn our pavilion into a giant gingerbread house. It has a 30-foot wide, 24-foot tall gingerbread house that goes on the front of it. If you look in like some of our Camp Light Facebook pictures and Creative Works Farm, there'll be all kinds of pictures of the Christmas event, and we have a Grinch's Fun House and a Santa's Workshop, and the kind of cool thing is that on our at-risk teenage week, we do the teenagers. We do the same camp programming, just a little more geared toward the teenagers. But a couple of the days, every day, we work on a project that's going into the Christmas Wonderland event. So they're giving back to something that's raising money for camp. So we're trying to show them that no matter their circumstance in their home life or whatever, they can still give back and help others. So they actually get to build something that goes in the Christmas event, and then we give them tickets to come, so they get to come see it. And so that's a lot of fun, because then they take pride in what they're doing and getting to see it in operation.
100%. So since your day camps are set for a week, do you service or serve like a certain population for each week? Like you had mentioned, you have teen week. So will you have
Yes.
like one week where you have children with physical disabilities, and then different sort of?
Well, so yeah, we do like 6 to 12, and then we'll do 13 to 17.
Okay.
And then we'll have all week where there's 6 to 17, and we divide them up kind of in age groups that way. And usually every week is physical and mental challenges, and then some children that are mingling in too, we have inclusion campers that may come with families that are counselors. Like, we have a lot of teachers that volunteer as counselors, and so they might bring their child and they enroll in camp, and sometimes they're in a helping role, and other times they're just in there as campers helping, just having fun. And then we also realized that in first year or two that our kids were aging out, so we started adult week. So we have an adult week for 18 and up. And last year we had 34 adults for that week, and it was awesome. It's
Right.
yeah, a total different pace of camp. It's not the 8-year-olds bouncing off the wall. So these are a lot slower pace.
It's still adults with special needs that were your special needs campers. Your
Yes.
adults with special needs, right?
Yes, and then we've brought in a whole lot that never came to camp because they were already adults. So that's
Right.
been amazing. That's been a lot of fun.
Something tells me you cry a lot during the summer. Are there a lot of do you have
Oh
tissues
yeah,
on hand all summer
yeah,
long?
yeah. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and everybody knows that.
Okay.
And I'm not afraid to say it, and because I get overwhelmed with how much other people put effort into our camp.
Right.
And that makes me proud and humbled, to just see that the hours and stuff that we put in, doesn't go unseen, and people want to put forth effort to help. And,
Right. I mean, it's a true testament to just not only your mission, but also to you and your wife, that people want to help you. So I think, it's a lot to be said for you as a leader, for your mission, the population that you serve, like high five, like really good.
Well, thank you.
Good job. So what's your timeline? I mean, you were talking about, millions of dollar projects. You've been fundraising for a long time. Like, where are you in meeting that goal, and how can our listeners help you in meeting that goal?
Well, yeah. So we're quite a ways from the goal, because we just literally we finished a project last year that took care of paying off everything that we owed money, because we had borrowed a little bit of money to build a few things. But we have our operational septic system in, which is to handle 100 people a night, which was a $140,000 septic. So because we don't have county sewer here, we have county water. So we're really starting right now raising the money for the dining hall and hoping to be able to build it. And then as we do that, we're going to be raising the money for the whole facility. So we're really starting our capital project funding, kind of now, really. And we hope, depending on the right people getting involved, we hope in the next 3 to 4 years we'll have it built out. It just takes a couple people, larger corporations, that want to be part of it, if they want to put their name on building, whatever they want.
Right.
Because we have that opportunity. We have in our little 50s town, you can put your name on buildings. We have one. It's actually one of the guys that I've built a lot of homes for. He sponsored our gas station because he's a car dealer, and so he paid for that building. And so that's people can help in any way, small and large. The small donations add up to make the large donations.
And I know that you guys have your annual charity auction on Saturday, May 6th. So for those, is it online as well? Can someone bid on these auctions online, or is it only in person?
No, it's online also. So we have a lot of people in other states because I travel so much with my friends with the car world, the hot rod stuff. And we have a lot of friends around the country that get online and they bid. And if you don't win anything at the end of it, we do the paddle raise, where you can just give.
Right.
And typically that raises as much money or more than the actual items do. So
100%.
Yeah, and that's a great way to give because the majority of that goes back to sending campers for free. And then we receive other money, of course, for helping build projects out. If you follow us on our Facebook and social media pages, you can watch. We're currently getting ready to build a quite unique playground that is built out of a airplane. So we have Dynamic Aviation, which is a local to us place in Bridgewater that deals with planes, and they do a lot of crop dusting work for the government. And they gave us a decommissioned A90 Beechcraft plane. So it's a 11 passenger plane. And so I've designed and building a playground where you go into a fire truck and the truck has the bed on it with a canopy that is a classroom area, and then wheelchair accessible into the airplane, out of the airplane into an air traffic control tower, and then back onto the ground, all wheelchair ramps. And there'll be a communication between all three where they have communication, to talk like intercom system, like from the flight deck to the, to the control tower and everything. And we have plans on putting a TV screen in the actual plane where we're having a drone fly off where they'll push a button to take off and it'll fly around camp. And so virtually they'll be flying around camp, and it'll be like a 30, 45-second ride, and it'll stop and then it'll start over. And it'll just be like, so you can see camp from above. And it's just a playground, for the kids to have a good time. And
you're not building a camp, you're building the next theme park. All right. You're building Camp Light World. It's awesome.
If we had money for a roller coaster, we'd probably have one. But no, I love the creative side of it, to make kids think outside the box and learn to be imaginative, because the greatest people have ever made things were the people that didn't sit inside the little box and punch numbers all day, just so to speak. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I love being creative and making things that make kids smile and have fun. And the cool thing I like about what we do here is that we have so many public events that it brings so many people out to camp, so they get to enjoy it too. And that to me is really cool.
I'm writing this down. I want to making things that make kids smile. Like that's your quote, making things that make kids smile. I really, really love that. So guys, if you want to learn more about Camp Light and the Creative Works Farm, you can please check them out online at creativeworksfarm.org, right? You are .org?
Sure.
Yes. Because if you Google Camp Light, you're going to be, your results are all going to be actually like camping lighting, portable lights. So it's Creative Works Farm. And there's so much great information on your website. If you want to donate, please, you can do that on your website. Sign up for their charity auction so you can get notifications of what's going to be available if you want to donate. And that is on May 6th. And if you are in Virginia, they have their camper open house, right? You are in Virginia?
Yeah. We are, yeah. Sandal Valley.
Yeah. You have an open house on Saturday, March 25th. So mark your calendars for that. And Scott, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. Your story is inspiring. You are inspiring. It was such a pleasure. I wish you the best summer of 2023. And I hope to have you back here. And if you love stories about camp and you want to hear more of the My Camp podcast, you can listen to it where you listen to your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Music. We've got a killer YouTube channel, Happy Camper Live on YouTube. So check us out. I hope to see you back here in the Girls HC, and I'll save us more for you.
Take a moment to shine.